Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Southern Scouser. I haven't done a live for a little while, so it's going to be a pleasure to do this one. It's not James that I'm with today. It's Samuel. Yeah, you might remember him from. I'm going to do my Troy McClure now from The Simpsons. You may remember him from other episodes, such as the Euro 2020 squad predictor. But now we're actually here. It's time. Euros are on tonight. England are playing on Sunday. So Samuel, my brother, had a really good idea of doing our predictions. So not just who's going to win, but best player, young player, top goal scorer, who's the dark horse, who's the surprise package, who's the early exit.
Yeah.
So it's going to be good fun, and at the end we'll both do our predicted team of the tournament, which is really hard because if one or two teams go out early doors, it's going to be very difficult to back that. But yeah, I thought we'd pretty much get into it, mate. So
yeah, why not?
Where did you want to start?
Might as well start from the very top. Go for
wherever you think.
Best overall player.
Perfect.
So the thing is this. It all depends on the success of the team as well, doesn't it? Really,
absolutely. Right.
You could have an absolutely storming group stage, but if you're a one-man team and you go out, you're not going to see many other individual awards.
Yeah, like say someone like Lewandowski could be brilliant himself. He could score a goal in every game, but is he going to get to the quarterfinals? Probably not.
That's it. So normally it's always someone that's got to at least a final, at least a semi-final. I mean, but normally it's awarded after the finals, and it's someone's got.
Yeah.
I remember it was like a Messi for the World Cup. It was Modric as well.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily on the winning team, because obviously they were both runners up. But
you need to get deep into the tournament.
You need to be pretty involved. So for me, it was a bit of I was torn between two. One that would normally get like the plaudits, scoring all the goals and being the standout player.
Yeah.
But I've just got a funny feeling being like a UEFA competition, and then going back to the last couple of months, this player got man of the match in the semi-finals of both legs, man of the match in the final, and won it. So I think there might be a little bit of a pattern going on. Everyone loves to jump on the bandwagon, don't they? So I think Kante might just nick it.
Big call. That is Kante going to carry on his amazing form. He's gonna put the cherry on top of his already this season cake.
I think it's a snowball effect, isn't it? Just obviously no one like doubted his ability anyway, but the form he's been in.
No, he's I mean, like you say, he's been incredible. I mean, we all knew 2016 he won the league with Leicester, a bit of an unknown quantity. 2017 got his move to Chelsea, won the league again, won the World Cup in 2018, and I think in all fairness, 19 and 20. He's dipped off a tad. I think injuries, form,
just a bit of fitness and stuff and consistency, but like so. It was a whole thing because he wasn't really playing in his main position, was he?
That was Sarri, wasn't it? Tried him tried Jorginho in the DM and put Kante.
So you didn't really see the best of him, but when you get a Pogba, I think there's some crazy stat of him and Pogba, isn't there? They've played every time they've started together for France. They've still not lost.
They've never lost a game together.
If they both stay fit, who says otherwise?
I can't disagree with you. I've also gone for a Frenchman, probably a bit more obvious. I've gone for Kylian Mbappe. And the only reason for that is I look at the group stage that France are in, and it's Portugal and Germany, and they're going to be really tight games. And I think one goal is going to win those games. And if there's one player on that pitch that's going to get you that one goal, for me, it could be him. And like you said, to pick a Frenchman as best player of the tournament is a very safe bet because semi-finals you would think as a minimum, final probably quite realistic, and they're most people's favourites to win it. So who's going to be the person that wins France the Euros? Who's going to score the winning goal in the final? For me, it's him, and that's.
I mean, like going back, to the World Cup, it was the youngest person to score in a World Cup final since Pelé. So it's not like the big stage affects him.
No,
and also with the tie group stage, doesn't matter how close or big the teams are. Like we always say, someone's got to score. Like when we do the fantasy teams for like a big Premier League clash, it's like someone's got to do something. It's not just going to be a 0-0 dead rubber every time, is it?
No, exactly right. So I think we've both gone for a Frenchman, both for slightly different reasons. Yeah, but I wouldn't argue with yours because let's look at it. France are going to be challenged. They're going to be tested. They're going to have to play two of the best teams in the world in the groups. They're going to have to beat a France probably, or someone they've already played again in the final. So Kante's going to have his work cut out. So
it's just because I think Mbappe for his own quality might get one of the other awards as well. So maybe they might want to spread out a little bit. Do you know what I mean? That's
a good point you make. So do you want to go on to the next one?
Yes, we've got top scorer as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to start with that one?
I will actually. Right. So my top goal scorer that I've gone for is Romelu Lukaku, and he's had a fantastic season at Inter Milan. Scored, I think, 24 goals
He's
in all competitions.
He's just playing in the system that suits him down to a T, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, again, he's a player that I think had really strong ability potential as a youngster. He didn't work out at Chelsea for him. He went to Everton, did pretty well. Went to United again, a couple of good seasons, and then fell off again. And he's really found himself in Inter Milan. And as you rightly say, a system that suits him. And I think the way Belgium play is all towards that big number 9. You know, they've had a Batshuayi, they've had a Benteke, but they still score goals in that team. And having someone of that quality up front with the likes of De Bruyne, Hazard, Tielemans, there's people that are going to put it on a plate.
It's all set up for him as the focal point, isn't it? I think that's why it didn't work out with him at Chelsea and United, because he wasn't the main man. You know, he's had countless players that got a bigger name, or but I might as well give it away. I've also gone for Lukaku.
There you go. I was going to say you're going to talk me out of it, but you've
pretty
agreed.
Good choice. But like I was listening to TalkSport earlier, and they had Mourinho on, and they were talking about previous players that he's managed that were at the tournament.
Yeah.
And he was saying it's just a seamless transfer from him going from Inter Milan to the national team, because it's exactly the same system. He's got similar players, like the big battlers in midfield, the tricky, pacey wingers. It's all set up, all for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Roberto Martinez has managed him at club level as well.
Exactly,
so
previous.
We already know that he knows how to get the best out of him. And let's be honest. All right, Belgium have had a golden generation. A few of them are getting old a bit now. The back line, Hazard's not as good as he was, but Lukaku is still prime. I look at their group stage.
That's the thing, and that's
Finland. That's a hat trick for me. They've got Denmark. It's probably their toughest game in the group, and they've got Russia as well. Who
like I was saying,
beaters.
When we were doing the predictors, I don't think they meet really a tough side until like in Italy in the quarters.
No,
and even then, they could still go another round. So
exactly, I was looking at the exact same thing, and like you say, I've got them playing Scotland in the last 16. Scotland going through potentially as a best third place playoff, and then, as you rightly say, possibly Italy in the quarterfinals.
Each team on paper that they're possibly going to get, you could say you could easily get a brace in each. Do you know what I mean? If he's on form, but it doesn't normally work out like that.
No,
it could start on fire, but
on paper, he's got 4 games where he's most likely to score. And even if they get, I've got them getting to the semi-finals. Even if they lose that, they've still got a third place playoff game to score in as well.
But I mean, I think I was looking at the Euro 2016 stats. I think Griezmann won it with 6 goals, top scorer. So it's not like you have to absolutely blitz every game,
No.
And he's taking the odd penalty as well.
That's right. I mean, you look at the World Cup, Harry Kane getting the golden boot. Most of his goals came in the group stages.
I think 3 were penalties, and one was one lucky own goal off the back of his heels.
Yeah, exactly. So if you get 3, 4, 5 goals in the group stage, you got a pretty good shout of winning it. So we've both agreed.
Yeah, I think I was going to say it was sort of out of him or Mbappe. But I don't think Mbappe takes the penalties. I think Griezmann has him.
Yeah.
So, and things with Benzema coming in as well, there's a lot more players, there's a lot more quality for the goals to be shared about.
I completely agree.
Whereas, look, fair enough, De Bruyne might chip in, Hazard if he can find some form, Carrasco, people like that.
There's one player.
But it's like, if you get a notification, you could just say, Lukaku,
Yeah, Belgium has scored. Who is it? Oh, it's wrong.
Yeah. Whereas you might not guess Mbappe straight away.
No, I completely agree. I was going to say the same. If France score, it's one of 3. It could be Griezmann. It could be Mbappe.
It's more than likely going to be Mbappe, but like
there's 2 other
there's
players.
A lot more firepower.
Yeah, I agree. I think the way that France play, anybody across that front 3 could score. I think the way that Belgium play, the likes of De Bruyne and Hazard are more interested in assisting Lukaku.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all about finding him, isn't it?
It's all about finding him. Which I think we're both very, very on the same page. You were saying how many we're going to have the same. Hopefully not loads and loads. I've tried to mix it up a bit from here. So I think that's your turn next on the young player of the year.
So this one, like I say, the whole age thing. Sort of.
Yeah, so basically, just to let you guys know, I realised on Sky Bet that Mbappe wasn't in the list. So I messaged Samuel pretty sharpish and told him to change it because I knew he would have gone for that as well.
So he was the obvious one, wasn't he? But then
he's obviously too old now.
Like last, if it would have happened when it would have happened, he would have been, wouldn't he? But
could have been, yeah.
It was a bit of a controversial one because there was a lot of English lads in there, but can't really see us getting further than like a last 16 quarter final.
Big shout.
So like the Mounts, Bellinghams, Fodens, how often are they all going to play as well? But,
as you say, they might shine in 2 or 3 games, but is that enough to win the young player of the tournament?
And like I said, there's like Havertz at Germany, but then his form through the season with Chelsea, it was sort of he'll look amazing, and then you won't hear from him for
I think just on Havertz, it basically took him 35, 40 games to get used to playing for Chelsea. Is he going to do that in 6 for Germany?
But like still, I don't know if he plays like a similar role for Germany. I think he was playing like on the sort of like cuts inside from the wing, doesn't he?
You're right. They got Gnabry, Werner, and Havertz as the
so I think he will. I think they absolutely battered Latvia or something.
Yeah, like 7-1.
But like I say, things with that, with that such a tough group, how much are you going to stand out? Whereas that's why my choice is a little bit controversial because I haven't really seen a lot of him. But so I ended up going for João Felix because did you? I mean, like we don't watch a lot of La Liga, but he's got to be doing something right to win the league with Atletico. You just look at the talent that you'll have around him. I mean, obviously, the question is how much game time does he get as well? Because there's, your Bernardo Silvas, your Jotas, Ronaldo's obviously going to play every minute.
Yeah.
I don't know if Fernandez sometimes gets, rotated a little bit, but he's got to have some impact, isn't he?
Yeah, Andre Silva's another striker that's probably going to get a lot of minutes.
And then I think the biggest sort of like turning point for me was, I've got Portugal to get to the final. So someone that's going to get far in. I think Germany might go out in like a quarters or something. So it's more about how long they're going to be involved for.
No, I agree, and like you said, my answer is the same. And what I see with Portugal is a very, very good 11, but not much in the backup, and they've got a grueling schedule. Let's be honest. I look at my prediction. I see them coming second in the group behind France and probably just about pipping Germany to second.
So I think they got like a Spain early on or something, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. So they, out of their first 3 games, 2 of them are France and Germany. Their last 16 match could be England.
Yeah.
Their quarterfinal match could be Spain. Their semi-final match could be Germany. And their final could be France. So if Portugal win this Euros, nobody can come and tell me they don't deserve to win it.
Exactly.
Because that is a ridiculous. They've literally got to beat everybody involved. Everybody.
Like their run when they won it last time, I think they drew. Didn't they drew all their group games? I think.
Yeah, wasn't it like a really random 3-3 with Hungary or something? And Ronaldo scored a hat-trick.
They got through with 3 points, I think.
Yeah.
And I think they beat Croatia after extra time.
Yeah.
And then it was all like by 1 goals and stuff. Yeah, like. Crept over the line.
The final was extra time, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was 1-0 as well.
So I look at João Felix and I agree. I'm not going to pretend I watch the league every week because I don't. I keep an eye on the scores. I keep an eye on the tables. João Felix has improved, I'd say, as the season's gone on. I think £100 million in him a couple of years ago was a massive overpayment.
It's a bit like a Havertz, just sort of waiting for him to
kick on,
sort of explode into what his potential was. He looked insane at Benfica, but then is that the league or
can he kick on again?
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, he's been involved in an Atletico Madrid team that has been very successful. And I look at this Portugal team. There's some older players in there. Cristiano Ronaldo is 36.
Yeah, they've got the 2 centre backs like 38, 37, haven't they, or something like that.
They can't play against England and then 3 days later play against Spain and then 4 days later play against Germany. They can't do it. So they're going to have to use their squad. And if Portugal are going to get to the final, which we both put them down to do, João Felix is going to have to play.
Yeah, it's got to have some input. And also going back to the previous Euros, do you remember Renato Sanchez had a little run of games and then he got young player as well. But then fell off the face of the earth and ended up at Swansea or something.
Yeah, he's kind of a bit of a renaissance now, isn't he?
So it's all it takes is two or 3 standout performances, not necessarily in the knockouts, but if you get far and Felix comes on, you could get young player of the tournament with like 3 substitute appearances
with a couple of goals,
just coming on and wrapping up the game 3-0 or something. So
I agree. I think young player is the most difficult to call because there's so much unknown quantity. Yeah. You look at the Sky Bet list of who could potentially win, and you rightly said. You've got your likes of Foden, Mount, I think, is on there as well.
It's just, I think, game time and how far that their country's going to go into it. It's a big factor.
Yeah, so I think the smart bet is picking a young player in France or Portugal. And I look at the France 11, I look at the France 15. They're all above 22, 23.
I think that's what's scary because they obviously won the World Cup and they hadn't exactly peaked just there.
That you say that their young players were there in 18 and they're now first team
players. The Dembele's and you Koemans and stuff.
They don't qualify for the young players. So we're both on for João Felix. I've got a funny feeling our next couple might be the same as well. Winner. So that's me next, isn't it?
Yeah, we've waxed lyrical enough about their players, haven't we?
I mean, if you're not saying France to win, you're just trying to be different, in my opinion. You look at their 11, it's actually a joke. I mean, you could play. I think France could enter this tournament with a B team and get to the semi-finals. They're that good.
Things with that, it's just like if they all play to their standard, like they're just the best team by a country mile, aren't they? That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Kante and Pogba, never lost a game.
Yeah.
Starting together, they've got Mbappe, Griezmann, and Benzema back up top. I mean, Kimpembe and Varane as a centre back partnership.
Thing is that's scary about France as well. It's like this team, they've been a group for a while. Obviously, they've got the one or two that will like come through, but got to the final of the last Euros because obviously it was our own country.
Yeah.
Won the World Cup.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're coming in like every time England have a tournament, it's like, oh, how are all these going to gel? Because it's like
brand new team.
Like, a new cap here, new cap there. Whereas France is like, oh, we just won a World Cup, and now we're actually better than we were then.
Like you said, even players like Jack Grealish, this is their first tournament.
Yeah.
He's 24, 25.
That's what I mean,
But I mean, like you said, I look at France's team: Lloris, Pavard, Lucas Hernandez, Varane, Pogba, Kante, Griezmann, Mbappe. It's the same team that won the World Cup, and it's, as you said, very similar to the 2016 team as well.
There's not a lot of risk. There's no massive. It's still the same manager. There's no big like tactical reshuffle.
They're a top team, proven top team.
They're not going in thinking, oh, is he going to be fit? Or do we have to change to a back five? Like, someone is, but.
I agree. I mean, I look at the tournament, and this is the perfect time to say how I think it's going to go. Semi-finals, I've got Belgium, France. Now, I look at the Belgium team, and yes, they've got 3, 4, 5 top players, but they've also got the likes of Alderweireld still, Vermaelen, Chadli still going to the tournament. Mertens is 30
so like
something.
Experience is like is a decent quality to have, but you need that nice blend, don't you?
You need the X factor. You need to have a world 11. Belgium have a world 5 or 6. I look at the other semi-final. I've got Portugal. I won't say who they're against because that will ruin who I'm going to say. But what gets it for me, I think the only team that can stop France winning this is Portugal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think the grueling schedule that they've got to reach it, and the fact that they've only really got an 11 below that, it's pretty average. France can play. I mean, you look at the route France have got. All right, they've got a difficult group stage. Hungary, they can probably rest a couple of players. Their knockout round, I've got them against Russia. I've then got them against Croatia. So they don't really need to be at their best until the semi-finals. You can lose a game in the group stage and still go through in third.
I think a lot of people have got Portugal and France going through all the way, aren't they? I think the so-called group of death can also be seen as as a positive. Like you've got to hit that level early on. There's no little warm-up one to now we've got to win every game from now.
You're straight in, aren't you?
So obviously teams before have lost their opening game and then gone on to win it, like Spain at the World Cup and stuff. But
Switzerland, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just starting off at that level. Whereas you've got like a Holland, they've got a pretty average group.
Yeah, and then when they get
all of a sudden,
first knockout
you
round,
get like a Germany or something. Like, oh god, Germany we've already played Portugal, we've already played France.
Yeah.
We've battered Hungary to get the confidence up.
Everybody's on form,
so
and Holland haven't been tested yet.
Yeah, it's hard to suddenly just be like, right, knockout now.
No, I think you're absolutely spot on, mate. Really, really well put, that is. So unless you want to add any more on France on the winners,
like I say, I think
I'll let you take the next one.
Covered enough there, haven't we?
Early exit. Oh
yes,
no,
we've got the same again.
Oh no, we haven't got the same. I was going to say, at least it's different this time. So, take it away, mate.
I think if you would have added a certain Virgil van Dijk and he would have been fit, Holland probably would have been up there.
He's that good, isn't he?
Possibly goes from almost like a solid quarter-final team with him.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree.
Just the fact that he's not there, I think their number one goalie is out with COVID, isn't he? So it's like Krul's come in.
Yeah, Cillessen, yeah.
Van der Beek's obviously not fit as well, but would he have played after playing about 3 minutes of football? But I just think like I said, they've got a pretty easy group, so it's not like it'll be a shock exit because you can still afford to come third and go through anyway.
It's a pretty average group, I agree.
But
average group.
I just think even the last 16 or quarterfinals, they end up getting Germany or something. So I can't see them getting any further than that. So I think they're sort of like the biggest team that will have like the earliest, like not like a massive shock, but just normally, because that's such history with the competition, aren't they?
Well, I mean, the thing is with Holland, I don't think did they not even qualify for the World Cup?
Well, that's the thing, because it's like one of the couple of big teams
they missed out, didn't they? Italy and Holland, I think, were the two, weren't they? So I look at their group. Ukraine, like you said, Ukraine. Okay, that's they can be in second gear. Who else have they got? Macedonia again. How on earth are they
probably
there?
The worst team in it.
Yeah, and Austria, who look bang average against a bang average England team. Yeah. So they're going to walk that group. I think they're going to get 9 points. I think Memphis Depay drags them through, and then I've got them meeting the Germany as well. And as I said, Germany, I'll get onto them more in a moment, but they're not the force they were. However, they know how to get the job done. Yeah, so
the thing with
they're
Germany,
a team, aren't they?
I think they've had their shambles in the World Cup. You very rarely see a German side have 2 bad tournaments back to back. They normally respond, don't they?
Yeah, I agree. So we're thinking Holland are the early exit.
Yeah, I mean, like with Germany, like a bad tournament is a quarter final, isn't it, for them on their standards?
Yeah,
like anything else is
there must be inquest and then semi-final.
Yeah, they're normally hands-on semi-final minimum, aren't they? No matter what.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good shout with Holland because, like you say, a lot of people are still, but I think nostalgia is a dangerous thing. Yeah. And you look at Holland,
you see the bright orange, and you think, oh yeah, that'd be good. Again.
Yeah,
but then it's like
Bergkamp, Van Nistelrooy, Van Persie, De Boer, Kluivert, David Seedorf, but they're not that team anymore. Yeah. They've got Wijnaldum. You know, they've got Depay, they've got De Ligt, they've got De Jong. They're good players. Yeah. Who else they got?
That's what I mean. It's
not a lot else there. So I agree. I think Van Dijk. We've seen how much he missed Liverpool, which obviously most of my content is on.
It feels like a transitional period for a country like it is club-wise, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't. Yeah,
they can't just go out and sign someone, can they?
That's the problem. Like I said, they've got a few decent young players, but I think they're just missing that. You know, worldie at the back that would have been a Van Dijk, and someone maybe to link up with Depay because he seems like a very sort of lone figure.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, he's not really a striker, but because they haven't got anyone else,
the best they can offer.
They sometimes play Luke De Jong, but I mean, he's bang average.
Like you said about backup, look who France or Portugal can bring on or something, or Germany
comes on, or Tolisso.
Yeah, there's a massive goal.
Rabiot.
I think.
Yeah, that's a really good shout. That is. So this might be slightly controversial for me. My early exit is England. I'm sorry, I've got the t-shirt on. Right, so basically, if you've not had a look at the tournament tree predictor on UEFA, if England win the group stages, they get the 3rd place playoff potentially from the group of death. So if we win the group, we could get a Portugal, we could get a Germany, and we could get France. We're not beating any of those 3. I'm sorry, we're just not. We've not beaten anybody of any significance in a knockout round since I was born.
I think we are like quite similar category-wise with Holland, though, because you look at our previous Euro experiences. Why are we second favourites? If just because we've got a few games at Wembley.
Yeah,
it's not like we've never lost a game at Wembley before.
No, that's the problem. And and I look at England, and if we was to come second in the group, and below Croatia, we could face a Poland, which again, I think we could probably just about sneak past. We have to hope Lewandowski's having a bad day. But for me, that's as far as it goes. I think if we come second and we do beat Poland, we get France in the quarters, which is just the standard where we always get. But I think we're going to win the group. And then I think we're going to lose.
Shoot ourselves in the foot.
And I think we're going to lose to Portugal in the last 16. So, like you said, a massive build-up with the Euros. Gareth Southgate got us to a semi-final last year. A lot of people don't rate him. I don't think me and you rate him particularly either. But you look at this group of players, I think they have the potential to be a golden generation. I don't think they are right now because I think you look at the likes of Mount and Foden, they're not quite.
I think they've got a couple to mature and become,
they're not
hit
quite
their full potential.
They're not quite there. I think the World Cup in 22, even though it's not the greatest climate for us, that kind of age group might be coming through. But I think England are going to have an early exit. I hope I'm wrong because I'll be supporting the 3 Lions all the way, but I think it's going to be massively underwhelming having waited 3 years for a tournament. Everybody gets the flags out. We're talking about who starts: Foden, Grealish, Mount, Sancho, Rashford, Sterling, Kane. The defence for me lets us down. Still,
I think the thing is with England as well, everyone's still sort of living in the World Cup sort of era, aren't they? If we'd have just got knocked out to Colombia like we would have done every other time, like the hype would have just been like deflated already, wouldn't it? But the fact that we sort of had that false route to the semi-final, and then just the performance that just summed up why we shouldn't have even got that far against Croatia anyway.
I don't even think Croatia were that special.
I know.
I mean, everyone's like, it's a golden generation of Croatia. They had Modric, they had Mandzukic, and they had Lovren. Like, it's not world beaters.
It's one of those classic ones where we're so scared about what they offer, where we offer twice as much.
Concentrate on ourselves.
They're not too fast, are they?
So that's my early shock. As I say, I hope I'm wrong, but I agree. We both think that our 2 disappointments are going to come out of the group stage, but no further. So we are back to me now.
Dark Horse.
Okay, so Samuel made a really good point during our dominoes downstairs. Look, we've got dark horse and we've got surprise package as two options. And you made a really good point that dark horse is someone that has a good chance, but isn't being backed by the masses. Whereas surprise package is like, oh, Macedonia made the quarterfinals. So I want to get that clear before we get.
Yeah, so like if you were doing it for the last Euros, Wales would have been your surprise package because they're not the dark horse.
But Croatia would have been your dark horse.
No, yeah, exactly.
In the World Cup because they're a decent team, but no one would have said Croatia get to the World Cup final.
Yeah, like I say, if Croatia play Wales, you probably say Croatia would beat Wales.
But. Yeah, exactly. So just before you guys just destroy us on Twitter when I post this, that's the reason. So my dark horse, take this how you want, is actually Germany. Okay. And the reason for that is I see them actually coming third in the group of death. I see them going through. I think they're all going to beat each other and they're all going to beat Hungary. So I think that group could end on 6-6-6-0.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Hungary are just a spanner in the works, aren't they? If anyone messes up against Hungary, that could be curtains.
Yeah, that's the game. That has to be a 3 point. It could come down to goal difference.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I honestly think that Portugal could, France could beat Portugal, Portugal could beat Germany, and Germany could beat France. Then they all beat Croatia. It's 6-6-6-0. They all go through. It could be Portugal, it could be France here, but Germany play Holland potentially. I got them in the quarterfinals going through. I won't say against who yet, because that's another one for me later on. And in the semi-finals, I see them playing Portugal, where I think they're just going to come unstuck, and they could play Belgium in the third place playoff. And again, that's a flip of a coin for me. So I look at the Germany team. I'm just going to bring it up here, and I'm just going to run through. So prediction-wise, this is a Southern Scousers Germany team, not Joachim Löw, but Neuer, Süle, Rudiger, Halstenberg, Klostermann, Kimmich and DM, Kroos, Gundogan, Gnabry, Havertz and Werner. Now, normal German teams, you look at the World Cup 2002 final team, you likes of Ballack in there. 06, when they hosted the World Cup,
Schweinsteiger,
ridiculously
Lahm,
good team. Lahm, Fried Frings.
Yep.
They've had better teams, is what I'm trying to say. But as we've said in the past, as we've said right now, Germany are a tournament team. No matter what quality they have, they find the way to squeeze every possible drop out of that squad, don't they?
The last tournament was just a blip, wasn't it? I'm not sure if they've ever gone out that early before, or maybe like in the more recent ones. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean about Germany.
Yeah, so I think dark horse is probably fair. I don't think they're going to win the tournament. I think they could get to the semi-finals, and I think for this group of players, that is an overachievement, and that's why I have them as a dark horse.
I think it's because how bad they were in the last one. If they did win it, it would be a bit of a, like how have they gone from that bad to suddenly better than France? But maybe, looking Love's last tournament, is it his last hurrah? Is it?
Oh, I mean, they've got Havertz and Werner that just won the Champions League. So, all right, they've not had great seasons, but they were still massively involved in the reason why they won the Champions League. Both of them were scoring goals, creating goals. Missing goals. So Germany are my dark horse, and I'm very excited to listen to yours actually.
Yes, I've gone different. So thank you. It's not all the same. Like we were saying with Holland, another fellow team that didn't get to the World Cup surprisingly was in Italy, wasn't it? So
after winning it in 06.
Yeah, exactly. Italy a bit like a Germany, such a good tournament side, so hard to beat.
Yeah. Still Chiellini
normally go for on penalties, don't they? Even won a World Cup on penalties. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just think
Buffon's not there anymore.
Yeah, not got a bad little understudy coming through.
No, he's not too shabby, is he?
But I just think with Italy, I mean, I don't think with Mancini, I don't think they've actually lost a game since 2018 or something.
3 years undefeated.
It's just like an easy qualifying group, as we've seen with England.
3 years is a long time. You've got to play someone good.
And I think they haven't conceded for so long as well.
Wow.
I mean, you go through their team, still got a few decent talents and stuff, but they're more based on Italy are always a difficult side to beat. They're always rigid at the back, aren't they? They've still got the experience. They've got a little bit of youth sprinkled in with like your Barellas and stuff like that.
It's a good mix, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think they're not exactly. I wouldn't be completely surprised if they got to like a semi, because I think I've got them like meeting Belgium in a quarter final or something, which is
I've got the same. I've got the same.
So if they went through, it wouldn't be like a complete shock. But it's just the fact that when you do the predictions, I never see Italy any further than the quarters. Do you know what I mean? It's never never seen Italy.
But in the final, I wouldn't be surprised if they did beat Belgium in a quarter.
So I mean, it's not a million miles off.
No, I wouldn't be like, well, that's a shock. I'd be like, they're both good teams. I mean, you make a good point on Italy. They've still got Bonucci, they've still got Chiellini, because they're the best defenders still, no matter the age. But as you said, there's a good mix. Jorginho, Verratti, Barella is a very interesting midfield, and Immobile knows where the net is, and they've got Chiesa and Insigne. Absolutely pure pace on the wings. So why not?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're a decent side. Have qualified with ease, but it's just the fact that everyone goes for a France, a Germany, a Belgium, a Portugal. They're sort of like fifth, sixth from the.
You pick on form, don't you? Because they weren't in the last tournament. As you said, it's a transition again.
Yeah.
Italy's golden generation was in 06.
Yeah.
The entire team retired. Yeah. The entire team.
I mean, no one expected Italy to get to the final in 2012, did they?
No.
Suddenly,
lost to Spain, didn't they?
Yeah, got better because obviously it's just probably the best international team of all time. But I mean, they knocked out Germany, which was a bit of a shock, wasn't it? With Balotelli, infamous.
That's right. I remember that.
But yeah,
with the flexing. I think that's a great show, actually.
The only thing with this year, there's no last 16, isn't there? Whereas before it was straight into.
You got another knockout game.
So all you needed, scrape through a game on penalties. Play your heart out, and you're in a final. So but now it's a bit of you've got to find some form.
Yeah, it's just kind of a caveat. I just wanted to ask you a question. I think this is the first Euros we've had 24 teams.
Yeah.
Obviously, you half 24, you get 12. You half 12, you get 6. The half 12, half 6, you get 3. So it doesn't work. So I just wanted to ask your thoughts on: is a 24 better than a 16? Because I look at the group stage, and we're only going to lose 8 out of 24 teams. Yeah. So you can basically lose a couple of games and sneak through.
Yeah.
Is it too much?
That's the thing. I think the whole thing about a tournament, you just want the best of the best, don't you? You don't want any.
It's dragging out.
Like so many of the group games, I think when we do the predictions, the groups on paper just look so easy. You can apart from the odd couple, because
you can just click 2 going through, can't you?
Yeah, like it's almost if I said it's Portugal against Macedonia in the qualifying stage, you'd be like, bloody hell, Macedonia, they're alongside like Andorra, San Marino, but suddenly they're at the tournament.
Actually at the Euros.
So I think as well, like with Scotland qualifying and stuff, they'd never get there because there would never be that extra space.
They wouldn't get in the 16. No.
So it's all for money to have more revenue and TV matches shown on TV and stuff. But I mean, as a fan, there's more games to watch, but then some of them are less quality, aren't they? So
I think that's what gets me, because I want to put this to my other favorite sport, which is Formula One. I don't even watch Quali 1 because it's a complete waste of time. Yeah. Because no one has to be any good. You just have to put a normal lap in, because you're only going to lose the crap ones anyway. Quali 2 again, pretty similar. So I look at the group stage and I think we're playing all these games. Portugal are playing Germany, Germany playing France, France are playing Portugal, and they don't really need to.
Well, it's a bit like Europa League, isn't it? You don't need a round of 32. Like, take that round out.
Yeah.
Like people that go out, the quality is just not there, is it?
That's what I mean. You're expanding it, and I get why, but I would almost say if you're going to do a 24, do a 32, have an 8, and only get the top 2 in the group stage to go through. Because if you're starting to say that the best 4 third places go through, you're only maybe losing one team.
That's the thing that
for how many games?
The group stage just feels a bit of a waste of time because if all it takes to go out is you've got to finish dead last and be 2 of the worst runners up out of the other 4 that can sneak through.
Absolutely.
How bad have you got to be?
Exactly.
To not get into the knockout.
You said there's 6 games in a group stage to potentially lose one of you.
Yeah.
That just seems so long-winded. I mean, if you're going to do it, I look at some of the teams that haven't qualified. Greece, Ireland. These are decent footballing countries.
But like, how much more dramatic would the group of death be if you knew a Portugal, or France, or Germany?
That's what I'm saying.
Were done and dusted.
But all 3 are probably going to go through.
But Hungary's probably going to get torn apart.
Yeah.
And there's enough other worse teams that will finish third that Germany or
they
someone
should get through. They're going to get points, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, like you say, if Germany beat Hungary, 3 points is probably enough for a third place player.
Like a Russia or something.
Might get 1 point.
Yeah.
You might get 2 teams in a group that just lose every game,
exactly.
or draw with each other, for example. So that was kind of my caveat. I just wanted to ask the question because I think a 32 would be better. I know it means more teams, but suddenly you're losing 2 teams from every group stage, and that's it. You're straight into knockout in the last 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, final. I almost feel that that's where they're going, and I think they've brought the 24 in, so it's not such a culture shock from 16 to 32. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe not the next one, but the one after that we could see 32.
Is it more of a problem with like the actual qualifying to get there? Like, is there any big country that's not made it that should be there?
I mean, Ireland and Greece spring to mind as the main 2.
Is it like a Serbia that are normally there as well? Or something?
Serbia, yeah. I mean, we played Romania the other day. They were nothing special, were they? But
But look, like that's not because they've added it. There's no like a major standout team that's missing, is there? Really?
No, there's not a Holland or Italy that are missing, is there? I mean, yeah, other than a few of the other Eastern teams.
Whereas like the qualifying
Norway potentially could be in there. Haaland.
Get the old world beater or something. But you know, like we didn't qualify for 2008, did we?
No.
So I think we would have beaten your hand off for a 24 tournament then, wouldn't we?
I agree, but yeah, I look at it and I think it's probably on its way to becoming a 32. I think that's pretty much what they're looking at. But it then makes almost a mockery of the qualifying for the Euros because you think, well, how many European countries are there?
The amount of teams that make up the numbers in the qualifying, you know, like you should almost. It just feels like an absolute waste of time, doesn't it? You have international break to win 6-0, 7-0, come back in, have 3 injuries, and then that's it.
It's a great point, and I look at it, and I've recently played Football Manager with the Euros, and I'm beating Liechtenstein 15-0, and all right, football's not played on Football Manager, but you know, England aren't going to win 17-0, but like you say, they're going to win 5-0, they're going to win 6-0, and what really is the point?
But it's got to the stage, like, you know, with club football, there's a Champions League, a Europa League, and now a Conference League, because half the teams in the Europa League aren't good enough to be at that level.
That's true.
So your teams like San Marino and everything, in a million years, are they ever going to qualify for the Euros?
No.
So you might as well make a BTEC Euros for the teams that get smashed every week to actually
and the winner of that
more
maybe qualifies for the Euros, and we get rid of this European qualification and just play Nations League football.
Like I said, they brought Nations League in as well, so at least the friendlies a bit more actually mean something. But
that's what I would personally. What I would do, I would make the tournament a 32, and I would shorten down the qualifications so England aren't having to beat San Marino. You know, look at the groups we've had. We've had like Albania, you know, Montenegro.
That's what.
All in the same qualifying.
That's what
group.
Gives you the false hope.
Andorra, San Marino.
Because like with Hodgson, we won every game in the group. I'm pretty sure goal difference, you know, just plus whatever.
Yeah.
And then we turn up and then we don't win a game. It's
like,
like, why did we just watch that for 8 months to get there?
It took us 2 years to qualify for that, playing 2 games every 6 months.
Yeah. But you don't get tested in the group stage.
No,
that's the thing. And then you suddenly turn up and you're like, oh god, we've got Germany now.
That's the problem, exactly, because the depth in European football after the first, you know, like we've seen. Now we've made it 24 teams. You've got North Macedonia. No disrespect, fair play for qualifying, but North Macedonia, I wouldn't in a million years have said they would qualify for a European Championship. So amazing effort. But what are they going to do at the tournament, really? Well, hopefully they, you know, probably prove me wrong. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of get onto that really and just get your thoughts. But getting back to our main part of the video. Next one up is Golden Glove. Oh no, have you done your dark horse yet? You did Italy, So you're first up on Golden Glove. Yeah.
So sticking with Italy, as I was saying, like how rigid and tough to beat they are. I don't know if they're still 5 at the back or they do go quite defensive sometimes.
Yeah, I think they can mix it up.
Like I said, it's a balance of have they got an easy-ish group. It's a balance of how far are they going to get, because obviously, you know, if you're out in a group and you don't get 3 clean sheets,
and then they're kicking us off tonight in the first game.
Exactly. So I think Italy sort of minimum quarterfinals for me. I think they've got a pretty sort of average group, haven't they? They're not
Turkey, Switzerland, and Wales.
Yeah, so it could have been worse, but it's not like your Macedonians and stuff.
No. Beatable teams.
Yeah, I think Italy just a well organised side. I mean, even in their warm up games, they look pretty solid, and they, you know, the better Czech Republic, who we will probably struggle against. So, I just think it's a nice mix of not having. You know, the only reason I haven't gone for like a Patricio or a Lloris is because they've got to play the 2 big boys as well.
Absolutely right. Yeah,
I can't see them being 0-0.
No.
So I just think it's a nice balance between, you know, not the worst group in the world, the way they're set up, and the fact that they've not lost a game for so long as well. So
I agree, and the thing that makes me choose the same as you, I've gone for Donnarumma as well, is because exactly what you've just said. I think Turkey are a good team, and I'll get onto them more in a moment. But I don't see Wales scoring against Italy, and I don't see Switzerland scoring against Italy. And I think Chiellini and Bonucci, with Donnarumma behind them, with a Jorginho sitting in front, is pretty solid.
Yeah.
So 3 winnable group games. I think they get through to the last 16 as group winners, and I think they play Austria.
So I mean, it's
again. That could be
like another group game.
That could be 3 or 4 clean sheets before you get to the quarterfinals, and they've got Belgium. That could be 0-0. That could go to pens.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, if you look at England, even if we did somehow top the group, I can't see us winning without conceding.
No,
you know what I mean,
I
whereas
agree.
Italy, they're a very Like like I said, they blew Czech Republic away 4-0, but
still the nil.
If a team's going to edge a game 1-0 even after extra time, it's Italy, isn't it?
It's get the ball to Immobile, get him to get the goal, and he'll be part of
Stay
us.
compact, don't let anyone in behind. Just
I think they're a dangerous team this tournament, as you've mentioned.
Mancini's no mug as well, is he? He's not,
Premier League winner.
Yeah, like when someone does well at club level, manager-wise, like it's normally a nice little transition, because sometimes you get someone who's not done anything and somehow ends up at
an international and does absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
No, I agree. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have any more to add. Donnarumma is mine as well, but that takes me on nicely to the surprise package.
I've got a funny feeling we might have.
Oh, we're going to say. Okay. I won't take all your fun then. I'll only say a little bit, but yeah, obviously the game tonight is Italy versus Turkey, and I don't think Turkey are a very interesting country because they either don't qualify or they reach a semi-final.
Well, they smash Holland when I've got a bet on them.
Yeah, well, like 3-0 up or something. Oh, they'll be all right. They'll come back. That was 2-0.
First game accumulator. Go on, Holland. Start fast. Oh, they're 2-0 down.
Gandhi says never back the early game. So I see Turkey coming second behind Italy. I was thinking about a bet tonight, but I don't know. I think
tough one, yeah.
Nervous, edgy first game. Neither team will want to lose.
Turkey, one of them where you just like I say, I think was it 2008 they went quite far, didn't they? Beat Croatia on penalties or something.
Right, yeah. I mean, World Cup 2002, I know it's a long time ago, but
they're always
semi-finals. They're always a good team.
Yeah, when we talk about like teams on sort of a certain level, like brackets a lot, don't we?
Yes,
So you've got like when you look at surprise packages, obviously you don't include France down to sort of England.
You have to be a non-top team.
Yeah, there's like a top 5-6 that would be, if you drew them out of a sweepstake, you'd be like, oh, half a chance.
Well, I mean, like you say, we did a sweepstake in the family and we did it in seeds, didn't we? So everybody got a decent team, and Turkey were a second seed.
Exactly. So if you could literally hand pick a second seed,
I'm pretty sure I got them.
Did you?
Yeah.
But
Come on, Turkey.
Your first seed let you down, didn't it?
Well, yeah, I got England on the other one. That wasn't ideal, was it?
But like I say, if you could choose
probably
the best of the rest, but that haven't really sort of gone under the radar, don't they? Not many people back them.
No,
but I've got half a decent history in previous tournaments.
I mean, I've seen people say that they're going to come bottom of the group, and I think, have you actually looked at their team? Have they got Soyuncu and Kabak?
At least you've actually than 3-4 players.
You look at Wales, half the team plays in League One. They've got Joe Morrell from Luton Town in the midfield.
Yeah.
Not like I'm dissing Luton Town. They're our local team, but Turkey have got some good international. Burak Yilmaz up front.
Just won the league.
Won the league with Lille. Top goal scorer in the French league.
35 or something.
Yeah, you've got Mbappe in there. He's hitting goals. He's hitting the same numbers, and we're saying Mbappe's a world beater. Well, Yilmaz is doing the same as him.
Yeah, I think they're just like another organised side, aren't they? They sort of
hard to beat. Yeah. I mean, you look whenever you get a game away to a Turkish team in the Champions League, it's bloody hard work, isn't it? Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, Besiktas.
Yeah, so
they're good teams.
I think was it Hakan Kalogni or something?
Hakan from Milan, isn't it?
Yeah,
in
sort of been around for a while.
I thought you were going to say Hakan Suka.
Get back of it.
But no, I think Turkey get through second. I think they play Denmark in the last 16.
I was going to say they got a sort of favourable.
I think they beat them. I think they meet Germany in the quarterfinals.
Another big clash.
Which is a massive clash because the Turkish population in Germany is huge.
It's a bit like when Germany play like a Holland or a Turkey. That's like their big sort of
neighbours. I mean, you've got Emre Can, you've got Kadira, lots of Turkish heritage players that have played for Germany.
And stuff.
Ozil was another good example. So that's going to be an interesting one. And as you say, Turkey are no mugs. Turkey are a good team. I think they're very, very underrated by a lot of people. People saying Wales are going to get through. Switzerland are a decent team.
Yeah, going back to the brackets, like I was saying, there's a lot because of the extra amount of teams that are there that are just you don't take a second look at, like Macedonians and
Russia, Ukraine,
Turkey. Sort of the only standout ones that don't quite make it in.
Yeah.
To your top.
They're very unique,
but they're not bad enough to slot into the.
I think them and Croatia. I think it would probably be the other one I'd put in that bracket because I've got Croatia winning possibly coming second in our group. Then I think they could beat Poland again. It's down to Lewandowski, and then I see them meeting France, a repeat of that 2018 final in the quarters.
So with Turkey, it's not like an absolute standout player.
No,
I think you Croatia and you Poland. You're just hoping Lewandowski turns up or Croatia.
But that's the thing. The thing is with them, they've got history. You look at they've got poster boys. Lewandowski, they've got Modric. Croatia got to the World Cup final last tournament. Turkey, I don't think have even qualified for a tournament in a while.
Yeah,
as you said, we've mentioned a couple of good players. Yeah. Is Soufal from West Ham as well? Is he Turkish?
I'm not too sure, actually.
I'm not sure.
Might be.
But, like you said, they've not got one standout player. They've not got one poster person, but they're a good team. They're managed by a good manager. I think they're going to get to at least the quarterfinals. Yeah. And I wouldn't put it past them upsetting Germany as well.
Like I say, we'll see tonight the standard. They might get battered 5-0
we'll delete this video after Turkey lose 4-0.
If this goes up, they've beaten Italy.
Absolutely. So that wraps up our awards, which was brilliant. I actually really, we had a lot the same, but we had enough different to have some good debate. Now the next one, I'm very excited to see. We did something very similar. If you caught it, our Premier League awards. Me and Samuel did a video where, very similar to what we've just done. Your best young player, your surprise man, the best manager of the season, and we did a team of the season. And not all of it was the same. There were differences, weren't there? So this is going to be an interesting one. This is very, very, very difficult to predict because if you pick a team of the season from the Premier League, they're all playing 38 games, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Someone in my team might play 3 matches and they got no chance.
Like I said, it could be someone that comes on, to get someone over the line in a last 16 or a quarterfinal.
Yeah,
it's all about standout moments, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of team of the seasons are made up of the semi-finalists. I think if you don't reach a semi-final, you've got to be bloody brilliant.
Yeah,
It's a
bit like like the Premier League was absolutely dominated by Man City, and whoever wins it. So if it is a France or a Portugal, it's got to be sort of 3, 4, 5 players.
It's a best combo of their teams, isn't it? So, mate, who wants to go first? Who wants to share their team first? I'll look at mine first. Okay, so I'll get it up here. So this is my team of the tournament. I have gone, as you can see, for pretty much a mixture of the France and the Portugal team. So I've got Hugo Lloris in goal. I think Donnarumma might just nick the Golden Glove award. However, I see Lloris playing the most games, maybe only getting 1 clean sheet less. And again, I think he's going to be the winning goalkeeper. And you can tell that because the back 4 are all from the same countries again. You've got Ruben Dias, who's been amazing at Manchester City.
I'm glad I changed a couple of mine.
I would have been identical.
I thought you got mine up for a minute.
No, gosh, hopefully it wasn't exactly identical. No, I've got Varane. I've got the 2 Portuguese fullbacks. It was a close call because I like Pavard from France. But the problem with France is they have so much option for rotation. You look at left back. They've got Lucas Hernandez. They've got Digne. They've probably got a third option as well. Whereas Portugal's first 11 are going to be involved heavily. I look at the Premier League team of the season and you see John Stones, who played 22 games. For me, that's not enough. He's getting in because he went on a good run. But I think in a short team tournament, you have to play in 80-90% of your team's matches to get in. So I've gone for Guerrero, the Dortmund left back. I've gone for Cancelo, obviously Manchester City. Moving into midfield, I've got that man, N'Golo Kante, possibly could be the Golden Ball winner, whatever you call it, at the Euros. And then I've gone Bruno Fernandes just purely because what season he had at Man United.
It's just, even if he's having a bad game, he'll still chip in with a couple of assists, won't he? Yeah. You'll hear his name twice and he'll be involved twice. That's the difference.
He makes things happen. Portugal could be 1-0 down to France for 89 minutes having not touched the ball. Bruno could score a pen or a free kick and it's 1-0 and he's involved.
The thing is with Bruno in Portugal, I mean, I remember when we were watching Spain-Portugal in the group stage of the World Cup.
Yeah,
that was before he was sort of well known or linked to anyone.
That's true.
So we weren't looking. Oh, look, it's Bruno Fernandes. We were just like, oh, it's Ronaldo. It's a couple of others.
No, I agree.
But I think this is his first tournament since he's been like a household sort of name, isn't he?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So just finishing off my midfield 3, I've got Yuri Tielemans, someone that I really, really want for Liverpool this summer. I think he would be the perfect Gini Wijnaldum replacement. I think he should be looking at the likes of Chilwell and Maguire that haven't necessarily gone on at the time to a much bigger team because Leicester have been in and around United and Chelsea for the last 2 years. But ultimately, Chelsea are in the Champions League. Chelsea won the Champions League. Man United are in the Champions League and come second. Liverpool is a step up from Leicester. Let's not pretend.
Yeah, it makes sense, and there's like the progression.
It's a great progression move. He's proven. I mean, Leicester has spent more time in the top 4 than they have outside of it recently. And I think he gets in the team of the tournament. I think Belgium make the semi-finals. I think he's heavily involved. I think he scores goals.
With De Bruyne not there for the first game, does he get a slightly different role, or does he?
Exactly. I think he links the defence to the strikers perfectly for me. I don't think there's many players that can do that. I think Wijnaldum was one. I think he takes it off of Van Dijk and he gives it to a Firmino or a Mane. There's a lot of, lots of Fabinho. He's a ball winner. Henderson likes to spread it to the fullbacks, but getting it off the defence, carrying it yourself, and we saw last season that goal in the FA Cup final as well. I mean,
unbelievable, yeah.
Outrageous.
And the thing was with Tielemans, like when he was at Anderlecht, I remember United playing him in Europa League or something. It was. I think obviously when we play like all our football managers and on that, you know
he was the wonder kid, wasn't he?
You know, like the potential. We're almost expecting him to go straight to a big club from there. And then when you see, I don't know if he ended up at Monaco or something, or he went to.
Yep, he went to Monaco, and then Leicester did a swap with Andre Silva for him.
Yeah, because like even Monaco, then that wasn't like your big move. You're thinking of Madrid or a Barca or whatever.
Absolutely.
So, like I say, Leicester sort of turned into a perfect move because he had a little loan there, didn't he?
Yeah, he needed that Turkey club. He needed that second tier.
Yeah, he thought, oh, maybe I'll stick and see if I can then be consistent again. And he has been. You know, he's improved again. Still young.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like I think you're spot on. I think he burst on the scene at Anderlecht at 18. I think it took him a while to fill out his body. If you kind of get what I mean, he's now 24. You know, he's not bursting on the scene at 19 anymore.
I mean, not to be harsh on Leicester, like obviously they've done amazing because of the business and stuff, but it's a stepping stone club, isn't it? Because of their history of selling players, and
that's the problem. Once you sell one, everybody else wants to go. You look at Mahrez, Kante,
Chilwell,
Maguire. Tielemans is going to think.
Vardy almost went.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, he's clung on and probably did the right thing in the end if it was going to be Arsenal. But yeah, Tielemans makes up my midfield three. And then my front three isn't very imaginative, is it? I mean, let's be honest. It's other than Harry Kane, they're probably the three most favourite players to be top goal scorer in the tournament. So, you know, we've both spoken about Lukaku being our top goal scorer, but I can't leave Cristiano Ronaldo out because he's unbelievable.
Big game player.
He's a big game player. If Portugal reach the final, it's going to be majority down to him. And Mbappe, because he plays for the best team and he's brilliant.
I mean, turned into Lorraine assistant manager, didn't he, in the last final?
Yeah, because he got that injury, didn't he, really early on, and I thought that might be curtains, and they still beat France.
Yeah,
unbelievable. So I've gone for goals. You know, I'm not going to say I've gone for anything else. I've gone for 3 absolute goal machines.
I think that's all you can do, really, because instead of like basing it on performance level, you know, like tackles, interceptions, it's standout moments. It's who's won that game, you know, who scored in the quarterfinal, isn't it? And when I showed you the 2016 team, you know, I think Bale only scored 3 goals, but he scored a memorable free kick against England.
Everyone's
I think another one,
head.
And they got far, and they're sort of the underdogs, weren't they? So
yeah, I think that's it. You know, when you look over a Premier League season, you're much more conservative. You think, oh, he was quite good defensively, he was quite underrated. But in a quick 1-month tournament, I agree. You look at it, you think, oh, he scored a cracking free kick in that game, and then he scored a goal in the next one, and he got to the final. He's in. You don't have to do a lot because half the teams are out.
You're relying on having 3
finals, aren't they?
3 decent performances, really.
I think Ronaldo has at least 3.
So I mean,
so that's my team of the tournament.
Yeah. But looking at that, great minds think alike.
Okay. so Samuel, you've got a very similar one by the sounds of things.
Yeah. So when I was having a little mess around with it, I think I did have Tielemans in there, and I did have Guerrero in there at left back because that was one of my undecided positions. Yeah. So
even the people I've mentioned, you've got instead of
exactly. Yeah. so just to carry on from what you were saying, like, you know, a bulk of my players, because of what I've already said about certain teams, have had to be in there. So Lukaku, top goal scorer, so he'd have to be in there.
Yeah. Otherwise, there's no consistency in your own.
I've got Kante, player of the tournament, had to be in there. I've got Golden Glove Donnarumma, had to be in there. Obviously, Bonucci to back him up. Diaz, purely based on like what we saw in the Prem. Yeah. If he stays on that performance level, how can he not be in there?
If Portugal make the finals, it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
You know, it would have been a Diaz and Van Dijk, wouldn't it, if they were both fit?
Yeah.
Gundogan as well, like I say, with his Man City form.
Yeah.
I think like I was going to say with Germany, because I just wanted a few more like nations in there. With Germany, they've not got that like out and out like goal scorer because Werner might still drift wide. Havertz is like a false 9.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if Mario Gomez is knocking around, but he's normally him and
Kevin Kurani coming on as well.
You know, he's normally the only one that's like that traditional number 9.
He's been the only traditional number 9 German for about 20 years.
Even Podolski was always sort of like a winger as well.
Closer weren't bad.
Yeah, closer. Yeah. Like I was going to say, I think that just gives Gundogan that little like free roll again, like he had at City. So maybe comes up with the odd goal because that he normally.
They've moved Kimmich into a CDM role.
Yeah.
So Gundogan will have that freedom as you mentioned.
Yeah. So I think it's like Gundogan and Goretzka.
Goretzka, as well.
I think that's like sort of similar players in the area.
Yeah.
Like so, you can't really leave Ronaldo out. Bruno sort of tags along in nicely because who's going to be setting him up?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, a lot of it's based on who I think is going to go far. So you've got Portugal and France dominating. Like I said, but Italy with the clean sheets.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question to you because you make a really good point that you have to back up what you say in other things. And my reason for having Donnarumma in as a clean sheet king because of their easier run at the beginning compared to France, but having Lloris as the goalkeeper of the tournament because he makes the final and potentially wins it. Yeah. I look at your team and it's very similar to mine. But if Italy get knocked out in the quarterfinals, can they get 2 players in the team of the tournament?
That's the thing. But like I said, who knows? They might go a bit further. But like you say, it all depends on.
It's difficult to call, isn't it?
And for a team, to get in there, it's more based on how far you get and who wins it, rather than like say if Belgium do awful, get knocked out in the group. Lukaku could score 5 goals in the group stage, be second top goal scorer in the tournament,
but probably ain't
so
getting
like
it in.
Lukaku's got 5 goals, and Mbappe ends up on 6. Mbappe wins it.
He gets golden ball.
Gets the golden ball, golden boot, gets in the team. Lukaku's like, hold on a minute. I know I played 4 less games, but I only scored 1 less goal.
He might have got 1 more assist than him.
Exactly. So it's very hard to base that on individual stats.
I agree because, like you say, Belgium could smash the group stage. They could have a shock last 16 exit, and Lukaku could be on 5 goals and 4 assists.
And then on the opposite scale, Kante might not get a goal or an assist, but because he's world class and the best in his role, and if France are going to get to a minimum final, then how can he not be there? But
it's fantastic. No, I mean, how many we got the same there? So we've got Diaz,
Cancelo, it's all about 2, isn't it?
Kante, Fernandez, and the front 3. So it's 7.
Oh yes, the goalie, centre back, and left back, isn't it?
And Gundogan. I didn't have Gundogan. Didn't have Bonucci. Didn't have Fernandez. Didn't have Donnarumma. So not too bad. I mean,
I think the front 3 picks itself. Like I say, you could have had a Kane or chuck a Griezmann in as well or something because he normally turns up.
I just don't want to jinx putting English players in. I want to be I heard something on the radio today and they were saying, the World Cup there was no expectation, 0 expectation, and then we got to a semi-final. This time, the expectation's huge. So I just feel that it's all going to go wrong. So I just want to go
low key as possible. I'm
going to enjoy it as me and you do because we're football fans. I wouldn't watch Italy Turkey because it's a Euro game. If it was a qualifier or a friendly, I don't give a crap. But it's a Euro 2020, 2021. I want to watch it. I want to see who wins. I want to scout. I want to look for players.
And sometimes it's nice to watch the game as a neutral, isn't it? Sometimes
you just enjoy it.
Sometimes it is more enjoyable just to sit back and be like, look, it's real. Like I think we celebrate the Ronaldo free kick more than England's goals in the knockouts. Don't we?
You literally beat me too. Me and Samuel. I mean, we're just lovers of football. Let's be honest.
We just want the dramatic moments, the big goals.
Most of the time, if I watch a match with Samuel, it's because he's come around to watch Liverpool with me, or I've come around to watch Man United with you. And one of us is normally on edge the whole game. And, we, as you mentioned, we watched that Spain-Portugal game.
We didn't care what happened.
We didn't care what happened.
Obviously, I like Ronaldo doing well, and I want Bruno to do well again.
But like you just said, Ronaldo scores that free kick, top bins against De Gea.
Yeah.
And me and you were jumping around in the living room like the Portuguese. We're going absolutely mental. And it sort of settles, and you're like,
hold on a minute.
I don't celebrate like that for England scoring.
Because we don't do that often.
No, well, we don't do that often. But then the nerves set straight back in again, don't they? So we really appreciate football. This is going to be hopefully a really memorable tournament. Me and Samuel had a really good discussion the other day about what is your favourite tournament in your memory. So I'm going to put a poll out after this one. What is your favourite tournament? I'll put some good options in there.
And stuff.
So let's think of 4 that we can make those options. So I'm going to chuck a couple in, and then you chuck a couple in. So
we're doing just Euros, or
so anything. Since you've been alive, what's your top 2 or 2 of the top ones you can remember?
Yes, my first one I watched was World Cup 2002. That's like my earliest.
So Brazil, South Korea, Japan.
Yeah, but I don't know if that would necessarily be my favorite. But that's like where
that's where you'd start from.
Yeah, I think it would have to be Euro 2004.
Yeah, that's classic.
Just like the era, because that's
just the ball and
that's like my first memories of football, getting boots and kits and
all that.
And then definitely not Euro 2008 because we weren't there, so that's sort of goes by
a little bit later.
I don't know really.
World Cup 06 was pretty good.
Like
Germany
04 and 06, so that'd be my era.
2-1. That was Italy, wasn't it?
That was the Zidane headbutt.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say those 2.
Those 2. No, that's really good. I mean, for me, I'm a little bit older than Samuel. Some people think that you're older than me when they see us, but I am actually older. You can probably tell by the hairline. 1998 for me was my first ever memory of football. Euro 96, I remember it being on TV, but I was 5. And I'll be honest, the swing in the garden was a bit more interesting to me than England-Spain penalty shootout. So 1998, Michael Owen, Argentina goal, Beckham red card. France beating Brazil in the final. Peak Brazilian Ronaldo, peak Zidane.
Unreal, yeah.
I mean, can you name me 2 better players than those 2 in their peaks? It's pretty difficult, isn't it? So, I mean, Messi and Ronaldo, of course, but in that era, I mean.
Yeah.
So for me, 98's got to be there. Again, 02, Ronaldo with a wedge haircut.
Yeah.
I mean,
just the golden era all round, really.
Yeah, Germany in the final, Turkey. I think that tournament was set up for Brazil to win, so I don't know if it was one of the best ones. What else have we had? We've had 2010 World Cup in South Africa. Shit show for England, but overall,
I think it was good because it was just different. Like first ever one in outside of
Europe or South America or Asia, wasn't it?
So it's completely different environment. Obviously, Vuvuzela''s got.
I remember who won.
Spain, that was, wasn't it? Spain, Holland.
Oh yeah, it was the De Jong tackle one.
Yeah. And then it was Euro 2012. That was the Spain again.
Spain beating
smashed Italy
in the final. Yeah. Again, the Spanish dominance was like.
Yeah, just felt like the same tournament on repeat.
Yeah, like Fabregas up front. It's like, okay. And it was 14.
Brazil 14, yeah.
So that was Germany 7, Brazil 1. Who was the final in that one?
What was that again? That was the Spain win that one again? Can't remember.
I think they won 10, 12, and 14, didn't they?
They won Euro 2008.
Yeah, 8,
World
10,
Cup.
and 12.
Yeah.
So 14 was a new winner. It escapes me who won that now.
That was Germany, Argentina, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, that was Götze in the extra time. So your absolute memory of knowledge is fantastic. So Götze, Germany beating Argentina in the final 14. 16 was, what was that?
France, Portugal.
Maybe
Portugal. A repeat this year.
That was quite a decent. I quite enjoyed the France Euros. I'll be honest. I quite enjoyed that. What did we do?
Shame England were terrible again. That was the Iceland.
That was the Iceland game. I did enjoy the tournament. I remember Payet just being absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Yeah.
And when they left the lights on in the stadium and all the moths came.
Oh, yeah. Then it was the 18 Russia one, wasn't it? But
yeah, what was 18? So that was France winning.
That was France-Croatia, yeah.
In the Croatia when we got to the semi-final. So I think that has to be in there, really.
Just because of where we got
to. Where we got to. So if we go 98, 04,
so not
06.
Not 96 then.
The thing is for me, because I missed it, I think a lot of people that watch my content, especially my Twitter followers, are a similar age or younger than me, so they're not going to remember.
So it means more if you were actually there.
So
seeing it yourself,
I will say since this, so we've got 98, we've got 04, 06, and 20.
Yeah. So Euro 2000, that was an absolute stinker from England as well, wasn't it? Was that out to Romania?
I tried to avoid that one, but you've pulled that back there. No, I'm only joking. I forgot. I remember that. I was 9. I think that's the first time I had a wall chart for the tournament.
I literally don't remember us kicking a ball at that time.
We had Germany and Romania in our group stage, and believe it or not, Germany actually came bottom of the group. They had like Colston Janker up front, big bald striker. They didn't win a game. We lost. I think we lost to Romania. I think Phil Neville gave away a penalty, and they all dyed their hair blonde with a full red kit. Yeah, it was a shocker. England and Germany go out of the group stage. But yeah, so I'm going to put that poll out, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Obviously, I've done it live. I've not got many subscribers on YouTube, so if you want to subscribe, please press the subscribe button on YouTube. Obviously, I'm on Twitter with a bigger following at the South Scouse. I'm on Instagram at the Southern Scouser, and all my main content is over at Never a Foul. With the Red Sea podcast, me and James, and I also recently joined LFC Day Trippers as well, again under the Red Sea podcast. We're going to be doing a lot more with them as well, but that's been our Euro preview. We've got the game in about 45 minutes,
and then we're going to try and come back and do one to review the
yes through, good point. So after the Euros, we're going to come back, we're going to sit right here,
see how badly we've done
and we're going to absolutely laugh at how far off we were. And we're going to talk all about how North Macedonia won the Euros and
going to debate if Southgate deserves another chance.
Yeah, Southgate. He did all right. He got to the last 16. We'll give him another 4 tournaments. So I think that'll be good. It'll be a good reaction.
How many red cards and penalties? Let's get out to penalties. That's what we're.
No, I agree. But we've got a good other ideas to fill your summer. Samuel had a really good one. We're going to do tier lists about football boots and
England kits and whatever.
Yeah, all England kits and England songs. So all Euro content's come in. So please remember to check it out. I've got some very loyal subscribers. I'm over 100 now, but I'm going to share it on Twitter, guys. So definitely check all my videos out in the past. I've done badge tier lists, football haircut tier lists. It's a bit more fun because on the Southern Scouser, I've been doing this for about 3 years now. I started after the Kiev final because I needed to vent my frustration about Karius somewhere.
That was a tipping point.
And yeah, it was just me with my phone in my flat talking about Liverpool. And it was all raw. It was all Liverpool, all reaction. And since joining Never a Foul, I don't want the Southern Scouser to just end. So I like to do bits and pieces that aren't really...
A bit more lighthearted.
Yeah, more lighthearted, exactly. So look out for all my other videos. Please subscribe. And yeah, I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. That was really good.
That was fantastic. So guys, we'll see you very soon. As I say, check out Never a Foul. Check out LFC Day Trippers. That's where all my main stuff is. And we'll see you next time.